Car-Boyz. We're back
Yeah.
again. That joke only makes sense to you and me.
I know.
Technical problems earlier on. Thankfully, didn't go too far into the show, but we are back once again, strong, ready to kick ass across the tinterweb. This sort of fantastic medium that was invented by who?
Tim Berners-Lee. Sir Tim Berners-Lee,
Berners-Lee.
an English guy.
Like all great inventions, invented by the British and benefited by everybody else. The steam engine, invented by the British. Cricket, invented
Yeah.
by the British.
Rugby.
Sense of sarcasm, which I don't think the rest of the English-speaking world get.
No.
America and Australia. Apparently, it's the lowest form of wit.
Apparently. Yes.
Not
I
that
hear
I
that
give
too.
an F. Yes, Car-Boyz is back. We're back once again. Another hour or so fun on the tinterweb, courtesy of Berners-Lee. Lots of japes, lots of hijinks to spice up your life. Sorry. No, there'll be none of that. I went to a state school and I know nothing of larks, japes, hijinks, or, I might add, horseplay. Nope, what you're going to get is 60 minutes of great car advice, some myths, truths, whole lot of laughs, and we'll be laughing all the way. Unfortunately, not to the bank. Coming up today, we've got all the week's headlines in Dan News. We're trying to get down with the kids, you see. And we've got a really awful car in Pick of the Pups. It's an awful French one. And I do know, if you are watching or listening, there are a lot of French awful cars to choose from. And yes, I do like to steal a Shakespearean quote or two for in our quiz. It is a rose by any other name. Which will be interesting. I'll name the car company, and my contestant will have to name which brand of vehicle that company produced. As we all know, the Russian car manufacturer Lada had a number of models, one of them being the Riva, and not the Pailishitsky, despite what the owners say. And talking of our contestant, who loves a bit of Russian, here's Simon.
Russian, Polish, Czech, Slovakian. I pretty much love them all. So the rumour is. Yes. We have a great show on the way today with somewhere exciting and international and exotic in our Lost Highway section of the show, and also have a great vehicle in the classic car selection. Something slightly from left field this week. It's the Daihatsu Sirion.
Oh, let's just let that the iris close a little bit. It is very different. It's like it looks like a Mark III Fiesta. Mark III or Mark IV? Mark IV.
There's a reason why we've chosen this, and we'll get to that when we get to that section of the show. Also, we'll be asking the perplexing question that if I close my eyes, or one of my eyes, and I'm driving, does that mean that I'm the only one on the road? It's usually like the M6 toll road. There's no one else on there.
Actually, there's nowhere else on that. Yeah, that'd be fine. What's the answer?
Yes. And I think it's being an idiot, really.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, stay tuned for all of that and more. I'm Simon Sidgwick, and girls who want boys who like boys to be girls who do like the girls that they're boys always should be someone you really love.
Simon Sidgwick on there, big fan of the popular musical band Blur and also the LGBTQ community. Yes, they're called Her now, Blur. I'm Richard Green, and just to balance things out, she'd take you down easy, going down to her knees, going down to the devil, down to 90 degrees. Oh, she's blowing me crazy till my ammunition is dry. Lovely little ditty there from AC/DC, entitled Giving a Dog a Bone, all about the love of man's best friend. I promise you that. And this of course is Car-Boyz.
Car-Boyz.
A new sponsor for the show.
Yes, what is it?
It's holiday water all the way from Italy, and it's the only way to taste Tuscany in 2021. The taste of Italy. Although, hang on, there is a whiff of COVID. There is Italian COVID.
Coming soon to a shop near you.
Yes, variant 55. So yes, hopefully that's our new current sponsor. It makes me do this a lot. I gesticulate with my hands for no reason. Yes, a lot of this paisan. It's Richard's friend now.
You've been eating pizza, haven't you?
Some pizza from the shop. What is your problem, eh? You come here with your no pizza. I have the pizza. Yes, time now on the show for Richard's rant. It's when I rant even. It's when I take.
Rant. Very posh.
I went very middle class there, didn't I? I've been working with people from Oxbridge today. That's why. Oh yes. Yes, time for my rant. It's when I take a sideways view of the world because I live in Knightsbridge in a heist with a mice. It's the rant is where I take a sideways view of the world from my own weird and I would argue warped perspective. Unlike many sections of the podcast, this will be an open debate or even a masturbate. Thank you. No, instead this will be a totalitarian dictatorship when I shall reign supreme as El Generalissimo. This week I'm thinking about Eric Arthur Blair and his seminal 1984 work, of course, also known as George Orwell, and he coined the popular term, or many popular terms that have made their way into the English lexicon, such as newspeak, thought crime, room 101, and of course the prophetic Big Brother. And now in this current version of Orwellian novel come to life, we find ourselves increasingly becoming under the watchful eye, I should say, of the state. Well, in conjunction with that thought, we hear this week that new cars sold in the UK will be fitted with mandatory speed limiters from 2022 after the Department for Transport confirmed following a ruling from the European Commission on Safety and Technology. Regardless of the fact the UK has left the EU, the limiters, dubbed Intelligent Speed Assistance, ISA, use, aren't they busy in the Middle East?
Yeah.
Use traffic sign recognition cameras and data from GPS to determine the speed limit in a particular area, automatically limiting the engine's power and the vehicle's speed to the prevailing limit if the driver does not slow down to the limit themselves. It only recommends a full on and off switch for the limiters should be included to aid public acceptance and introduction, indicated it tends to push for even stricter rules in the future. So you can switch this off and on under current guidelines. While it would be possible to override the ISA by pushing hard on the accelerator, the system would be activated every time the car is started. The recommendation from the European group, the ETSC, said if driver continues to drive above the speed limit for several seconds, the system should sound a warning, only for a few seconds, to display a visual warning until the vehicle is operating below speed limit once the car returns to or below the speed limiter. The mandatory speed limiters will be introduced at the same time as a raft of other safety equipment, which includes data loggers, autonomous emergency braking, lane assist, driver fatigue detection system, reversing cameras or sensors, pre-wiring for alcohol interlock device. Jesus, this is 1984. All new models will be given approval from May 2022 onwards. All right. Take a deep breath, folks. First off, now this is the worrying bit. After May 2024, existing models are going to be required to have this. So you can't even get away with buying an older car. First off, my car already has autonomous emergency braking. It already has lane assist. And it already has reversing cameras and cameras all around the car. So that's something that's not new. Thankfully, it doesn't have the limiters. So some of this coming out of the EU is a load of old toss. Now, you may say that this is absolutely fine. It's a good thing that speed limiters are set on cars. And if you think that, then I presume you're either not a motorist or maybe you're a little slow in the noggin. Every single motorist in the world has to break the speed limit as to not die. There are thousands of reasons to go faster than the speed limit for your own safety, and you are even advised to do it in the highway code. And I quote, "You must not break the speed limit unless to not do so would cause an accident," which is basically saying, yes, you can break the speed limit to get out of trouble, which means use your common sense, which we all do as regular motorists. So imagine, if you will, if they introduce this law, which I don't think they will, but imagine if they do. You get your new car with all the limiters and all the bullshit on, and you just pop round to your local backstreet garage who, for a fee, will reprogram it and get rid of these limiters completely so you can drive it properly. I do not need the state telling me, like a robot, how to drive. Well, that'll be next week, of course, when they replace us all with the T2000 Cyberdyne Tesla Terminators. And on another note, I don't know if you caught the news. We'll moan about that in a minute, but let me finish the rant. On another note, Asian Mr. Bean, who is Sadiq Khan, won the London election. Sorry, that's
there he is.
There he is. Asian. No, hang on. Is this a picture of him? No, please don't.
No, he's going, no.
No, it's definitely that. That's Asian Mr. Bean. Look, he's there. I'm about to vote. has won the mayoral election in London. So all you Londoners out there, say goodbye to your freedoms, your cars, as it's not going, and it's not as if you're going to have public transport to fall back on, because the moment he announced he's won, London Underground said they were going on strike. So expect a whole new load of anti-motorist lobbying by him and his fellow cronies for the next few years. And isn't it weird that a London mayor who advocates using public transport, but for him, strangely, public transport constitutes a Range Rover. I've never been picked up by a Range Rover on the local bus route that goes past my house, but he gets to go in a
That'd
Range
be nice.
Okay, so there's nothing we can do about the London mayor. 3 years of this dickhead. Hopefully there'll be a horrible accident that happens to him. Politically. So what do you reckon about these limiters on cars? Insane?
So they're going to force people to buy limiters to fit to their cars. Retrofit.
Will look
I'm
great in your
assuming they will
1974 MG.
Yeah, so they'll fine you for not having one, I'm guessing.
Yep.
But I've got this little device that I can plug into my dashboard.
Yes, I've got one of those.
With an app on my phone, I can tell you. So it's like I have a stupid stop-start thing that's automatically on stop-start when you start the car.
German car, yes.
Yeah.
You managed to get rid of. I could never get rid of that.
I reprogrammed it. Yeah.
Well done, good boy. Because you know what that will do. That will completely destroy your starter motor, firstly, and it will then completely destroy your engine.
Absolutely. So that's why. So it's a no-brainer for me. I don't get how they could ever enforce this. So you're going to have electric, which you might as well just all ride around in milk floats.
I mean, that's what it'll constitute. I left work to go to work today it's a 6-mile journey. It took me 45 minutes. And I don't live in central London. I live on the edge of London. And to travel 6 miles into town took me 45 minutes.
That's crazy.
The whole point, and I had a policeman say this to me once after I got done for speeding. He said, I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to make up time. And I went, yes, I'm trying to make up time. I'm going fast here because for the next 10 minutes at those lights, I'm going to sit and watch them change from green to red and red to green and green to red and red to green. And I still won't have moved. So in between that, I'm trying to make up time. If I could, during lockdown, it was taking me 15 minutes to get to work. 15, not 45. So I was shaving half an hour off.
Yeah. Absolutely. So as I said, pandemic-wise, things were better. But then during the pandemic, the mayor of London, he put in all these low traffic zones and things like that and snuck those in.
You've made that worse. Low traffic zones, no-go zones. We've got a couple of those in our borough that are driving people crazy. And, of course, the obligatory cycle lanes, which the cyclists don't use. They've just revamped Kew Bridge. They've made it dual carriageway now, but with no cycle lane. Either side of Kew Bridge are cycle lanes that go up to it, and then no cycle lane on Kew Bridge. And I go, well, so the lanes are quite narrow. So the cyclists have got a tendency just to get on the pavement because they're going, do you know what? I don't want to deal with all these cars. I'm going to go on the pavement. Well,
and how many people in all those luxury flats next to Kew Bridge?
Yes, I know the ones.
Who've got the 5-minute walk to the train station? How many going to actually use the cycle lane?
None of them. None of them, I imagine. We have got a dickhead that I work with that lives in one of those flats and drives to work. It's about 500 yards.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah. Yeah, that's near Gunnersbury. Yeah. Just one of those people. Should we have some news?
Let's have some news. Let's get the show on the road. And first off,
before you start, I did put a picture of George Orwell because I was going on about Orwellian, but it's not George Orwell. It's from the film 1984. But I thought it looked a bit like Captain Mannering from
Panic.
Panic, stupid boy. It looked a bit like Captain Mannering from what was the TV series?
Ain't Half Hot Month? No,
the other one. Dad's Army. Sorry. Yeah, I know that's completely aside. Pike, you stupid boy. News. To you. To you.
News. First off, in autistic South African shows off his truck news. Hundreds of New Yorkers lined up on the outside the Tesla Manhattan showroom to get a rare glimpse of the Cybertruck. Don't say that if you're drunk. The prototype, which was ahead of the company's CEO's Saturday Night Live appearance last week, the futuristic Cybertruck then hit the streets of New York City, and to the amazement
Hey,
of many bystanders,
walking here.
they all saw it. Yeah, that's a great venue, the Radio City Hall, which is a great place to go to, apparently. The prototype has only been spotted on a few rare occasions, partly because the window's been broken, since it made its debut in November 2019, most recently at Tesla. Musk announced that the vehicle would be on display in the Meatpacking District showroom. Is that really a place, Meatpacking District
Well, I
showroom?
think it was. It was a place where they used to pack meat, and
I
then
see.
it became a hang. I was in New York in the early '90s, a hangout for trans. I don't know how transvestite Oriental prostitutes. So you could say they were
Ooh.
still packing meat down there. Hang on. Now it's very
It then
trendy in the meat packing district.
Yeah. Uh, then took to the streets and was captured being driven around Times Square. Musk unveiled this Cybertruck, which looks like an armored vehicle with angular sides, or stealth. In November 2019, the billionaire and Tesla design chief Franz von Holzhausen took the stage of a high-profile event to prove the glass was shatterproof by throwing a metal ball at close range, but all did not go well, and it did not go according to plan because the glass ended up being smashed. Musk was heard muttering, "Oh my God," when his showpiece test failed. Musk then took to Twitter to explain why the windows of his Cybertruck embarrassingly broke during a failed strength test at the launch event. Musk explained in a tweet that the base of the glass window had already been weakened during a previous demo. Now, this weakened thing, you'd have
Yes.
thought that all of the comet planes that crashed in the 50s and 60s had understood about weakened windows.
One would think. I want to know, where's the cyber sand and the cyber bricks if this is a cyber truck, and where's the cyber
Truck.
sticker that says "honk if you're horny"?
Oh,
You know,
yes.
because it's a truck. It's a pickup truck.
Hmm.
A strange place to find one in NYC. You can see how bloody dead New York is. Look at that.
I did see that video and it almost looked unreal. But the thing looks huge. There's a car following it, a
It does,
van,
doesn't
and
it?
it's huge. That'd be great on these roads in Britain.
Oh yeah, it'd be easy. Go down the roads.
So there you go.
Yeah, it's a bit of a Cybertruck. Sorry, get the right way up. I just
It's better upside down.
yeah,
Probably
and
end up
well,
upside down.
yeah, it'll probably end up. I don't know. Is there much torque with an electric motor? I think there is. Or
There is, but it's instant.
ugh.
And if you try and tow something, you zap all your energy.
Well, we go from very exciting and very chic news in New York to, meanwhile, in crappy Rover cars face extinction
Ooh.
news. Once popular choice amongst Britons, not myself and my family, in the 1980s and 90s, Austin Montegos, Maestros and Metros were 10 a penny on our streets and driveways, and they literally cost 10 a penny as well. But once these mainstream motors are now on the edge of disappearing from our roads altogether, according to figures that reveal just a handful left, in some cases handfuls. Three of the three cars which were over 1 million on the road at one point, they are among the most 10 endangered models which have depleted in numbers and most rapidly over the last 25 years. That's according to research carried out by Uswitch. Topping the list of rapidly declining cars is the Austin Montego, the family car saloon that was introduced by British Leyland from 1984 until 1988, and then by the Rover Group until 1985. Now, what I was going to say is that now there were a total of 436,000 Montegos sold in the UK.
Yes.
Fast forward to today, 25 years later, only 34 remain by 2020, which strangely is the number of hairs on Jimmy White's head.
Because I was going to say, Jimmy White there looks like he's got a white cane, because I think that's the sort of person that would buy a Montego.
You would have to be. I think Jimmy White was going,
It's a
yes,
snooker cue.
I'll take the money, thank you very much. But Jimmy White doesn't have that much hair anymore, and it seems to have
Yes.
left his head. I think he's got spray on hair, as
Yeah,
quickly
yeah.
as the Montego has rusted away. For that's what they did. They did rust. Other models that have posted a similar demise are somewhat lesser known, such as the Fiat Regatta, which was 83 to 90,
Yeah.
of which there were 14,500 in 95. Today, there's just 3. The list also includes the Lada Samara, 1987 to 96, Hyundai Pony, 75 to 1990, the Vauxhall Belmont, 1980 to
Astra with a boot.
1984, Astra with a boot, with just 11 Samaras, 7 Ponies, and 16 Belmonts by the year 2020. Now, you can't quite get how awful the Montego was. Plus,
Yes.
it was built like you could lean against the door and easily dent it. Let me show you the MG. This is the Maestro. Another absolute dog. An absolute dog of a car.
My neighbour had one of those in
Horrible,
blue.
horrible. My mate's mum had the MG Maestro, which I think had it may have had
2-litre turbo?
yeah, didn't it have a digital display? I think it had a digital display. I don't care.
Yes.
It was still a pile of poop, and that's in baby poop brown. Horrible, 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 horrible car. Now there's a reason why they're extinct. Unlike a classic
Yes.
MG BGT or a frog-eyed Sprite or a wonderful I don't know Austin Healey, these are utter shit. Utter shit, rusty cars, weren't loved at the time and certainly aren't going to be loved now.
Yes. And when you say there's going to be handful of those cars remaining, literally it's going to be handfuls of rust.
Yeah, handfuls of rust because they were built. I think the Montego may have had, I certainly know the Rover had an Accord engine in, so they had an all right engine in, but if it was the K series, they were just exploding. And I've got a feeling that certainly the Metro had the
I think that was
K
a pre-K series.
Or was that pre-K series? They just used to heat up and explode. So yes, so bye Rover. Never mind.
Oh, well.
Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out.
Moving on in government green lights, robots to drive car news. Drivers in Britain could legally be allowed to take their hands off the wheel to check their emails and read a newspaper in cars fitted with the latest technology by the end of this year, because of course they are only going to be limited to 70 miles an hour because they're all going to be controlled. The government has confirmed. The statement issued by the Department of Transport said it's first types of self-driving vehicles fitted with automated lane keeping systems. I've got one of those. It's called Me. I'm a driver. I can keep in the lane.
Not hard.
Yeah, could be permitted to steer themselves in slow-moving traffic on motorways. So basically, no use at all, but only at speeds of 37 miles an hour before the end of 2021.
On motorways.
It is expected. So you're doing 37 miles an hour on the motorway, and you're not able to keep within those lines on the road?
No.
Yourself? You have
That's
to
what I was
rely on
saying
it?
earlier. My car, if I deviate across that, my car goes beep 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 beep. It goes, by the way, you've just come out of your lane. If I go onto the hard shoulder, my car beeps. If I nearly hit something, my car, and it's 8 years old, my car, the belt pulls. First time it happened, I thought I was being attacked from behind. I didn't know. I didn't really read the literature. I just bought the car, and suddenly the car's going this. I'm going, who's in the back of my car? Nobody. It's just.
It's like a stick shaker on a plane.
Exactly,
you're stalling. It's expected to limit could be lifted to 70 miles an hour if the scheme is successful. The update comes after a call for evidence launched by the ministers in August to determine if the technology would be safe to drive on the road, and the impact could have on reducing fatalities, emissions and congestion. However, insurers and safety experts have warned the government over the misuse of terms such as self-driving to describe the ALKS system, saying that it could pose real dangers to road users if motorists become over-reliant on the systems, which may cause more accidents in the short term. Designed for only the use on motorways, ALKS enables the vehicle to drive itself, including steering and managing the speed. I can do that. Just to let you know, I can do that myself. And the distance in the vehicle ahead, I can do that. I can judge how far I should be near a vehicle in a single lane, while maintaining the ability easily, safely return control to the driver 10 seconds, within 10 seconds if the case, in case of problems. If the driver failed to act, the vehicle would come to a stop. No doubt someone crashing into the back of you. Motorists would not be allowed to switch lanes while using the technology. AUX is classified by the UN as a level 3 automation, meaning drivers do not have to be in charge of the vehicle, but they must be ready to take charge with warning. So the thing is,
Yes.
they didn't see there was a story last week that I think 3 people sadly got killed in a Tesla, and they
Right.
found that no one was in the driving seat.
So if you give idiots enough rope, they are going to hang themselves. Also,
Yes.
anybody that can remember the early 90s, I think early 90s movie Total Recall, remembers this already
God.
exists. This technology
Yes.
already exists with Johnny
Taxi driver.
Cab. Johnny Cab on Mars. Take me there. I need to go and see Cohagen now. So that's what pretty much we've got. I want to have a dummy driving the car, apart from me, which is a dummy. Oh, by the way, I did find another reason why we should try and preserve old Austin Rover cars, because who would
Yes.
want this to go to the scrap heap in the sky?
Oh, 6R4 Metro. Those bits are probably plastic that are bolted onto it
It's all
anyway.
plastic. It looks like it's a Metro that's crashed into
Steroids.
a parts place. It's crashed into Halford, spun round, and then shot off with all this crap on it.
Yes.
Ugh. I can smell the slowness. Finally, in what are the most crashiest car in the UK news, Vauxhall Sephiras are the model of car involved in the most crashes. Hey,
if they haven't caught fire.
They haven't caught fire. Flaming lovely. A new data is revealed. There have been 511 vehicle incidents for every 10,000 cars, according to the data from Rivervale Leasing, which submitted a Freedom of Information request to the Department for Transport to find out which cars are the most road accident prone. It found that the car maker Vauxhall tops the charts when it comes to the most crashes. Riverdale Leasing asked the Department for Transport for the number of vehicles involved in accidents by make, model, and accident severity. Believe me, insurers will know all about this. That's why they pay hundreds of thousands of dollars each year to actuaries to work out which are the crashiest cars and who are the most at-risk people. That's why I always go under my official title when I get insurance of the Reverend Green. Live a very quiet life. Just not Roman Catholic though. No, because they like a drink. Anglican. Just very quiet life, visiting my parishioners. That's what it says on my insurance. I'm joking. It doesn't. Then calculated the rate of accidents per 10,000 models registered to represent each manufacturer and model fairly. The research found that more examples of each car that on the road is the higher likelihood of an accident, which is fair enough. So the Ford Fiesta, another popular model, had 35,602 accidents with over 1.5 million vehicles on the road. So it's sort of like this. But what it is time for now is another top of the pop style top 5 car breakdown if you're ever likely to be caught in an accident. Well, all right, and in at 5, it's the car which is no one ever lets pull out and is driven by dickheads wide and far across the land. No, it's not an acronym for Black Man's Willie, but it's certainly driven by a lot of black men. Yes, the BMW 3 Series is the 5th most likely car to be involved in a crash. Meanwhile, doubling that number is a popular Vauxhall, what appears to be driven by idiots. Coming in at number 4, with a total of 33,000 accidents in the last 4 years, it's the Vauxhall Corsa. Wide straight in at the 3 spot, taking bronze, Zootalaws for the Frogs. A little less va-va-voom and a little more crash bang wallop. Renault takes the number 3 spot with the Clio, taking bronze. Close but no cigar for Vauxhall at 2 as the Evergreen Astra takes silver, the top 5 cars to have the most accidents in the past 4 years. And remaining at the number 1 spot for almost half a decade, who said mums can't drive? Well, this might prove them right. The MPV, the Vauxhall Zafira, has had the most accidents per 100,000 models of any car in the UK, proving the school run is a bitch. There we go.
if they're not on fire.
If they're not on fire. Oh, I got an applause for that one as well. Thank
But
you very much.
but what does that tell you? It's probably the type of driver that drives those cars.
Yes. Let's have a quick look at the pictures once again. So
Yeah.
you got the Zafira, his mum's not paying attention. Vauxhall
Yes.
Astra is hoodlum teenagers. The Renault Clio is people that know nothing about cars and think that buying a Vavavoom Renault would be a good idea. And the Vauxhall Corsa, again, teenagers, people newly learned to drive. And the fact that a lot of people are stupid and buy Vauxhalls. So yes, so it's a big insurance nightmare. Talking which, I think you're going to be giving us some information on that right now in the classic car selection. Shall I get to
We are.
strike up the band? They've had an interesting week. They're hoping to tour. Their tour of South Asia has been cancelled because of COVID. So they're hoping they will be let out
Portugal?
of my basement this weekend. They may go to Portugal, although they did express an interest in Israel until sort of about a week ago.
Ooh. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, because of course good vaccination count, but other issues going on.
Yeah, other issues like Scud missiles. I did many years ago. It was a long time ago when Saddam Hussein was still alive. I went to book a holiday at a popular travel agents, and they said, "Oh, Israel's really cheap at the moment." And at that time, I think Saddam Hussein was firing Scud missiles from Iraq into Alat. And the British government advice was don't travel to Israel. And I've got this high street travel agent going, Israel's cheap? There's a reason. Strike up the band! Thank you.
Yeah. It's now time on Car-Boyz when we go looking for a classic car. You won't necessarily find your six-figure Ferrari or Aston Martin here in this section of the show. This week we're looking at something that won't break the bank, has a bit of fun and quirky styling, and maybe a good introduction to motoring for some of our younger viewers. Hence why we're doing this. We are talking about the first generation Daihatsu Sirion.
I don't know why. I want you to convince me why we should give a toss about this car.
Okay. It is called the Storia in Japan. It is a subcompact car produced between 1998 and 2004. It was also sold as the Toyota Duet in its homeland. It effectively replaced the similar sized Charade, which was produced alongside it for a year until being discontinued in 1999. The name Storia, if you don't know, is Italian for story. So I'm sure all these cars can tell a story. It came with two multi-point fuel-injected petrol engines, a 989cc three-cylinder with 60 bhp, and a 1.3 four-cylinder engine with 86 bhp. Both were available in 5-speed manual or 4-speed automatic transmission. While these seemed underpowered, the bigger version also had a respectable 0 to 60 time of 9.6 seconds, so it wasn't that bad. And it reached a top speed of 111 miles an hour. They were pretty frugal too. They average around 60 mpg.
Really?
So that's pretty good. Yeah. They weigh nothing. The UK market only had rally versions to start off with of the Sirion, Rally 2 and Rally 4, the latter being the 4-track version. Remember, Daihatsu did the 4-track. This is the 4-wheel drive version of the car. The rally models have a slightly increased engine output with 109 bhp. The F-Speed version, which is the automatic model, can be switched using the dashboard button to use a flappy paddle gearbox like Formula 1 cars.
Really?
So you can have using a sequential gear change on the steering wheel. The Sirion is proportioned like a normal car with a decent sized engine, which meant it didn't meet the key car size regulations in Japan. So it's not a key car. If you think you're getting a key car, it's not. The Storia or the Duet was restyled in 2000 with most changes to the front end of the car, most notably the grille, because you can see the grille on that car and the grille on this car are completely different. Yes. If it will just... There you go.
Mine's a bit happier than yours. Yours is a bit sad.
Yeah. I like to think it looks like a Mazda. I've got another picture of that. Yes. With most changes of the car at the front, most.
They just turn that upside down. Hang on, let me have a look. Oh no. No. I just thought they just turned the grille upside down.
No, it's not. It's completely different. So yes, so from the A post onward, the design remained almost identical.
Sad.
Daihatsu were Daihatsu were big in the Super Mini class offerings at this time, with the aforementioned Charade, the Coureur, and the Move all being offered as a great alternative to the Toyota Yaris, which incidentally this car is actually based on. If you're looking for budget motoring, hence why we're saying that the youngsters who are getting
Yes.
entry to this,
Go on.
insurance is pretty cheap. A clutch will cost you £130.
That's not bad. That's
That's
pretty
not bad
good.
at all. A complete exhaust system for 180.
Oh.
A set of brake pads will cost you
Could you
£40.
could you say that again? 180.
180.
No, no.
180.
There you go. Thank you. 180. You won the
Uh,
caravan. Sorry.
You've won, which will probably tow it. £180 for your full exhaust system. A set of brake pads for the front will cost you 40 quid, and even in a new headlight assembly won't break the bank at £80.
Nice.
That said, what do you look for? You've got to check suspension damage because they can be quite fragile, especially when you've got careless owners. So, how much would you pay for a vehicle like this? It's not too bad. Prices vary. I did try to print this out, but I forgot to do it.
Oh,
There
no.
is one available right now in Birmingham
Okay.
in green. It has automatic 1.3 hatchback, petrol, 5 doors, 5 seats. It only has 51,000 miles on the clock, 2004. You can pick that up for a smidge over £1,500.
I can smell the Werther's originals in that car from now.
Yes,
I
but that's the
guarantee.
thing.
It's old people, isn't
But
it?
if you are a young driver and you want to get your entry into
Yeah.
motoring,
You've
you
done
can't
it.
go wrong with this.
So what do you think the insurance quotes are like on that? I'm guessing it's about 1,500.
It probably is. I
Yeah.
mean, if you go for the lesser power, the 1 litre version or the 950 cc, whatever size engine it is, that'll be even cheaper.
I mean, I do get
So
annoyed with the youngsters today bitching about
yes,
oh it's a bit low powered. My first car had 955 cc. It was a Fiat Panda. It was a pile of crap. It did 0 to 60 in like a year. So we all have to
well,
sort of suck it up.
the thing is, and what I've noticed with the youngsters is that they're not actually owning their car. They're being lured into car dealerships, going, you could pay
Ugh.
£100 a month
Yeah.
for this car. Own this. It doesn't matter if you smash it up and it breaks, and well, it won't really break. It's
Well,
Japanese, but
it's fun. Listen, I've driven the Corey, I've driven the
yeah.
Charade. I used to own a Daihatsu 4-track. The Charade was good. I owned the Charade. I think I drove it for a couple of weeks in Australia,
Mm.
and it was hilarious because the guy I rented it off, um, the radio didn't. He showed me around. This is a car. It's the smallest, cheapest one we've got, and he put the radio on and went, "Wow, the radio works, mate. That's amazing. Look at that radio works." And it was very can't believe it. It's and it didn't give. And I said, "Oh, there's a mark here and there's a mark here." And he's like, "Don't worry, mate. Pretty much as long as you bring it back in one piece, I couldn't give a shit." Um, but they are very reliable cars. They're effectively cheap. They're poor man's Toyotas. And to
Yeah,
start off, why not get something like that? You can scrape it along the wall outside the garage. You can accidentally
yeah,
clip a trolley. You can hit your mate in the car park at university.
and it
Because I
will
know
always
what
smile at you when you do.
it will. It'll never be sad unless you get the other
And
model, which looked a bit sad.
it's got 5 doors, so you can get your mates in the back as well.
You can all get in there and hotbox it with some Mary Jane. Isn't that what the kids are doing these days? Hotboxing.
I don't know.
Yeah, they all sit
It's
in
been
there
a while.
smoke the marijuana. It does look like it looks like the ugly offspring. It does look a little bit like a what was it, the Mark V Fiesta, Mark
It
IV.
does a bit. I suppose so.
It's
Yeah.
but do you know what? Do you really care? You get from A to B. You're a student. You
Mm.
can put your sticker of your favourite band in the back. I don't know,
Yes.
Rag and Bowman. What are the kids listening to these days?
I
No,
think so.
no,
Rag and
no.
Bone.
They're certainly not listening to Motorhead. Right, is it time for turd of the week?
It is time for Turd of the Week. Come on, let's get those sound effects out. Oh, there we go.
Musical one coming. What's... That's called the nurse. That last one is called the nurse time.
That I particularly like that one. That's funny.
Follow
It's
through.
time to examine the terrible crimes committed against cars across the world. From the never servicing your Nissan Bluebird to installing dump valves on your 1.1 Skoda Fabia and putting the bumper back on to your car with gaffer tape. We basically find a car that's on sale around the world, a terrible car that's dared to mount the pile of feces to be crowned the glorious king of the hill. It is, of course, time on Car-Boyz for the Pup of the Week, aka Turd of the
Of the
Week.
week.
This week we had an email from Oscar in Donington. He's a monster of rock. He's found
I'm wearing a
this
t-shirt. Not half.
beauty.
Let's turn it up to number 11.
This was on an auction website. He decided to send it in to us because
Oh,
it
here we
doesn't
go.
look too bad on the surface, but beneath the skin, we have a right rotter here. It's a 2003 1.4 Citroen C3 Pluriel. I'll let Richard describe this car. The seller is very honest.
Low mileage car with working electric roof. Pickup style boot. Converts to a buggy by taking off the roof compartments. A lot of work has been done. New clutch, alternator and brakes. There are sensors for parking. New remote key configured and fitted. Dent to the front and rear passenger side under the headlamp. The head gasket has gone as the repairer left off the sump plug. Must be towed or recovered. Selling for spares or repair. Long MOT. Smoke free, smoke free, smoke free. Recent MOT. Green, 4 owners, £395. So basically, what we have here is an 18-year-old car with a seized engine. I think the seller is female because they're telling me all about the nice touches to the car. Low mileage, it's a convertible, smoke free, smoke free, smoke free. And at the end we get, oh, by the way, the mechanic left off the sump plug. The head gasket's completely gone. This will be a repair of no less than £500, taking the cost of the car to around £900. I found a fully functioning Plurial on the internet from 2008 with 61 on the clock and a full service history for £900. The other issue with this is the photographs
Yeah.
of the car. We have no idea what it looks like on the inside, and we've got no idea what it looks like really on the outside because the owners decided to take pictures over this weird sort of overhang garage. It's like it's a drug dealer waiting to make a buy in Breaking Bad. Finally, the pièce de résistance with a Pluriel, as you all possibly know, it's the icing on the cake, the folding roof. The folding roof. These
Take the bars
leak.
off, can't you?
Got to take the bars off. And
Yeah.
then the roof goes down and you turn it into a sort of pickup truck. And when I first saw this, I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. When they released these back in the 90s, I thought that's a great idea. They leak. The windows leak. All the electrics go. This is fodder for the scrap dealer. Even a loved Plurial, I would tell you as an owner to leave it well alone. So, the award for Pick of the Pups, Turd of the Week, goes to this 2003 hiding in plain sight Citroen Plurial from the East Midlands. Lovely car, blown engine. Well done, Oscar in Donington. Look at it. In baby green as well.
Green,
Look,
like a
haven't even
frog.
bothered to. They've driven that in. They've left it. It's scrap. It's 150 quid
Yeah.
scrap.
Yeah.
Just throw it in the bin. It's a pile of crap. My mate's girlfriend had a Plurial, and the roof leaked all the time. The electrics were constantly going in it, and that was a few years ago. I mean, look, if you really want to get one, go and spend 900 quid and get
Yeah.
900 quid for that one. That's got 61 on the clock.
5 years younger as well.
5 years younger.
2008.
61 on the clock. Full service history. Everything works. Very nice condition.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you
So,
go.
is it time for Lost Highways?
Yes, Lost Highways time.
I've got to find the Lost Highways music, which I always seems to. Here we go. Now, before I cue it up, I'm going to have a.
I still miss that one with the panpipes.
Oh, hang on. This might be coming now. Oh, this is quite nice. Slide. That's lovely.
It is, of course, time for the Lost Highways, the section of the show where our listeners email us in and give us their favourite roads and the reasons why they love them. It could be a quite coastal road that leads down to the sea, or alternatively, it can be a straight two-lane blacktop that leads to infinity and invites you to come the pedal to the metal. Whatever your poison is, let us know your perfect driving road here on Car-Boyz with the details. Ricardo.
Email carboys at car-boys@outlook.com. Facebook, car-boys, boys always with a Z, at carboys, 4 Zs. Twitter, car-boys at car_boys with a Z. Instagram, at car_boys with 3 Zs. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our podcast on the old YouTube, mainly on the old YouTube.
And click that notification bell as well.
Yeah.
Apparently, that's
Make it
what you have to tell
ring.
people.
I don't know why you do. I'm not really up on the old internet thing. I'm just a broadcaster. It sort of does itself.
Getting in touch this week is Bourbon Cream, or Bourbon Cream
Nice.
45, who says, "Dear Car-Boyz, one of my favourite drives is in the wine region of Italy, Chianti. If you if you prefer driving on flat roads, then the Giania Road is also known for the wine road. It's best choice in Italy. Located between the medieval cities of Florence and Siena, in the region of Tuscany,
girls.
the 60 yes, I know them well. The 60-kilometer Strada Regional 222, as it's known, crosses the Chianti wine region, passing through the stunning hilltop villages, vineyards, and cypress tree groves. The route is great for speed freaks. Shh, don't tell everyone. Although be sure to book up a few hotels where you want to enjoy the local vineyards, who usually have some of the world's best wine on offer. It takes roughly 1.5 hours to cross. And is paved, and the paved route. So please check the speed limits. He says, "There you go."
The Italians, Italian
Yes?
policemen, as long as you drive a very nice car, will let you get away with murder.
They
in
will
Italy.
watch you drive along. Yes.
If you're driving down if you are driving down here in a Ferrari and the cops pull out, they'll go avanti, 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 because they want to see how fast the car goes,
see how
especially in an Italian car. That's not from personal experience because I've never driven a Ferrari, but I've seen it. I've seen that they can do that. Meanwhile, we get an email from Castlemaine 4X, mate, from Hobart, Australia, which, if you are watching around the world, is a type of beer from over here. I think in Australia it's Castlemaine.
They don't drink it.
No, they do. No. They drink Castlemaine. I think it's called Gold.
Ooh.
Castlemaine Gold. I've had it. They drink Castlemaine. What they don't drink is Foster's. Foster's is pish. It was a brand briefly in Australia, but it's disappeared a long, long time ago.
Yeah.
Castlemaine Gold is like a real ale. It's really, really nice. Australian lager gets a really bad rap because we get stuff that says Australian, but it's really produced in a big vat up in Milton Keynes. If you get the good stuff, Coopers is fantastic as well. We're not a beer show, but we just do everything on this program. Anyway. Castlemaine 4X, sorry, Hobart says, "G'day, boys. Once you start to open up Australia, you should. Once Australia opens up, you should come and experience the Oxley Highway." He says the Oxley is a rural highway in New South Wales. There's a couple of guys on motorbikes, and it starts at Nevertire, ending at Port Macquarie on the coast of the Tasman Sea. Formerly a side National Route 34 for its entire length. However, during the 2013 route of west of Coonabarabran, it was decommissioned and some of it signed to the B56 as part of the new system of alphanumeric route markings in New South Wales. This fine driving road stretch is 653 kilometres into central New South Wales. I feel like I'm on Young Doctors. Taking it to arid plains, fertile farmland, luscious forests, and much more. What do you mean Shane didn't come home?
It's country practice.
A country practice. There's something wrong with the kangaroo. I'm not sure. Let's call in the dingo doctor. It's a fantastic for testing yourself and your car on a fun and twisting route. If based in Sydney, it's well worth making a weekend drive of the Oxley, staying overnight in one of the many pubs and homestays which dot its path. Cool. About 45 kilometres of the Yarovich to Wachop section is unfenced, and livestock cattle may be encountered there, so careful. Along the other wild highway animals on the highway, kangaroos the most likely to be spotted, but wombats and other marsupials may well be found. I have driven in Australia. The roads are pretty empty, but, and like J-Lo, it's a nice big but, you've got to be really careful, because I was driving in Queensland and I'm motoring along, I think in a Daihatsu, and I'm looking at all these rabbits. Okay, all those rabbits look really big that are racing alongside the car. Then
Yeah.
suddenly worked out I've got my distances slightly wrong, and they were kangaroos. And
Ooh.
certainly when you get up to Queensland, almost every car has got what they call rhubars on the front, because you do hit. And that's like hitting a deer, and
Hit
that could be
Skippy.
a right. Don't want to hit Skippy, mate. What's that? Oh, you shouldn't
He's
have jumped
down a
out of my
well.
effing car, you stupid bastard marsupial. As you hit him with the lug wrench. Just die. Yeah, so just be careful driving around. But Australian roads are lovely. They're very smooth. They're very well maintained. I found driving in Australia an absolute pleasure. It's the best place I've ever driven in the world. It really is. I think I did about 600 kilometers from Melbourne all the way down to Phillip Island, and then along towards along the coast, going west towards Adelaide, but not all the way to Adelaide. That would have been a long journey. But I did that for a few days, and the driving was just fantastic. You just sit there and
Nice.
But be careful as well, because Australian roads, speed cameras are hidden because they're bastards. Yeah, hide the speed cameras so you can get home and find. You've got lots of fines. Mind you, if you're a tourist, fuck it, who cares? My brother once got a ticket in New Zealand. He hired he lives in Australia. He hired a camper van, and he was really tired, and he parked the wrong way. So he parked with the lights facing.
Okay. Yeah.
They're facing the traffic when he should have parked on the other side. Whatever he did, he parked incorrectly. Anyway, there was a ticket there. When he came back from going to the pub. Okay. So what he did is, when he got back to the UK, for he was living here over at the time, he sent them a check from a British bank account. And weirdly, it's never been cashed. Just send that check. Good luck with trying to find that. Right, I think that's it from that. If you want to get your favourite driving roads, wherever they may be, local, could be outside your front door in the UK or America or in Europe, or there could be somewhere you like to go on holiday. It's the usual address. Don't forget to click like and subscribe, ring the bell, tell us whether you like it, thumbs up, thumbs down, please do. Time to delve into the glorious sack that is known as the mail bag, which has its own theme tune.
Let's have bollocks.
Yes. Sylvester in Chester says, hi, Car-Boyz. Love the show. Thanks. Can you tell me? I have a problem with my local feathered friends. Where Sylvester parks his car outside his house on the edge of a park.
The Tweety bird.
I thought I saw her put again. As part of the cars, a tree therein provides a great home for local bird life who leave little presents all over his car. How can you prevent this, and how could a bird poop get the bird poop off his bonnet? It's driving him crazy, and he thinks the bird doo-doo is bad for the paint. It is. It's quite acidic. It can leave marks on there if you leave it too long, isn't it? The bird
Yes,
poop.
you're not wrong. Just adding a few sound effects to the birds there. I don't think the birds actually fart when they drop their the doings off.
Probably not.
It's terrible for your paint work. Level of bird poo, pH level of bird poo is between 3.5 and 4.5, which is very acidic. Not great for your car. I had some bird crap on a bumper of an old car, and I left it. I had gone on holiday, and I came back about that big. That big. And I did what you're supposed to do is get a hot flannel is good, and put a hot flannel on it. So I did that because this was spot welded on. Took it off, managed to get it off. It had melted. I seriously had melted. The paint had sort of almost looked like it was sort of falling down. So I wasn't very happy about that. So the best thing, if you see it, quickly take it off with wet wipes. If it's hard, warm, wet, damp cloth with some fairy liquid in it, or other what do you call washing up liquid in it. Leave that on for a while.
I just imagine Nanette Newman coming along, wiping off his
bird shit off my car. My hands are so.
How much bird shit can we clear? This much more.
This much more bird shit. Remember to be gentle when taking the droppings off. Could damage. There's various sprays you can go to help lift it off. In fact, I just use wet wipes.
Mm.
The other things to try is, which what I have done, is buy a car cover, which I use in the summer to keep the bird crap off my car. Also, and I do not do this or recommend this, but you could invest in a catapult or air pistol. Just saying, if you're out in the
Mm.
countryside and you like to hunt. There's a great
Yeah.
it's in the scene from Family Guy when they do those cutaways, and Peter Griffin is sat naked in a tree above a pigeon polishing his car, and Peter Griffin's whispering, "That's right, get it nice and clean," just about to take a dump on it. So
The
that's our advice. Go on.
the other problem with that is also a lot of cars are lacquered now, and it can leave the mark. So although it hasn't affected the paint,
Yeah.
it eats up the lacquer that's on
It
the top.
it's yeah, try and, as they say in America,
As
Simonize,
soon
wax
as.
your car
Yeah.
twice a year, and yeah, try and just get the bird crap off as soon as possible. Oh, we were talking about New Zealand
Ooh,
earlier on. Alice in
nice little link there.
Christchurch, New Zealand, says, "Hello, Car-Boyz. Hope you're both well. I wonder if she's had fish and chops for dinner." She just inherited her late grandfather's house on the outskirts of the city. Nice. Found his old car covered in dust in the outbuildings. Now, she knew he used to drive a small Honda, but this is the car she remembers he used to drive when she was a child back in the 1980s. It was his weekend runabout, and it was this like really the posh car he went to church in and things. It's 1972.
Mm.
Austin,
Ooh,
1800. Not really a
nice.
maxi. It's the maxi
Yeah.
design. It is designed by Izigonis.
Mm.
It was made in the UK. My dad had one of these. She's cleaned it up. She's had it serviced. 74,000 on the clock. Now, it's 72 because it's the earlier one, because it hasn't got the plastic bumpers. It's got the nice chrome ones. But
Ah,
this is
yeah.
the more valuable model. 74,000 on the clock. 1972, so it's 49 years old, 3 owners, pretty good service history. What do you reckon? Now, 15 years ago, I've seen these things go for 500 quid. But
Right.
but there's a massive niche following for them, especially in Australia and New
Ah,
Zealand. It's the last hurrah from Austin and BMC. I think you could get at least 8,000 New Zealand dollars for this.
wow.
Contact your local land crab Austin 1800 owners club in New Zealand. Put the advert on there, or keep it, because it is a very iconic
Mm.
car. My father had a late 70s one in like a flat grey, front wheel drive. They had chain link gearbox, but it's so front heavy that in the winter he donated this thing so many times around roundabouts that he bought a bag of cement and put it in the boot. They weren't the best designed cars in the world, but seriously, they've got a massive following in Australia. They used to use them in the 60s and 70s to do sort of massive. We're going to cross Australia and let's use a
Ah,
land crab.
because I
Um,
know in Mauritius they had some, so I'm guessing they're quite big in the southern
yeah,
hemisphere.
in the
Old
colonies.
British,
Yes,
yeah.
Malaysia as well. Malaysians love Maxis was a logo, and there was a
Someone
guy.
had to.
There's a guy next to a volcano in Langkawi that had a white one of these, and he did replace it with, I think, what was the one with the square steering, the Allegro. The next time I went
Ooh.
up there, he had an Allegro, so he was committed. He was committed to the brand. Thank you very much. Good luck. You will get your money for that. You'll get 8,000 New Zealand dollars. No worries. I would actually, if you've got the room for it, I'd drive this thing and have fun
Yeah,
with it. David
have a go.
Darlington said he's seen some 20-mile-an-hour speed restrictions going up in and around Darlington. He finds them confusing because he's pretty happy with 30 miles an hour, and many people crawl along at 15. Are the 20-mile-an-hour speed limits enforceable? Simon?
I don't know because it depends. I think there's a lot. It's certainly in London. They've got lots of cameras
Yes.
around here that they're
They
doing to
are
check for these things.
officially enforceable. 77,000 drivers have been caught breaking the 20-mile-an-hour speed limits in London
Wow.
since January 2020. That was according to the Times newspaper, compared with a total of over 50,000 for the whole of 2019. Now, my borough of London, they're not handing out fines. They're warning people with safety notices posted through the front of your door. Yeah, go for it. If you go faster than 20, many speed cameras are not calibrated to register you going faster than 30. So even if
Oh,
they've dropped the
interesting.
speed limit to 20, a lot of these cameras are still only clicking on when you do 30. Now, there's a police person that lives near me that's very friendly. They say they never do 20 miles an hour. This has nothing to do with me. I do what I want to
Mm.
do. Look, it's a good idea around a school. I think great. Major city roads, it's a fucking joke. Traffic is kept slow speeds by the level of traffic during rush hour. No one wants to see kids get hurt on the road, but there's a point of having safety for. There's a point of teaching kids how to cross the road properly, not just run out into traffic and slowing everybody down so nobody gets hurt. And we all live in a fucking bloody safety
But the
cotton
stupid
wool.
thing
Let's
is,
not do it. I
yeah,
also drive a car that's got that brakes a lot better than this old piece of crap from 1972. Yet this guy in 1972 could motor along at 30.
the thing is, schools kick out around what 3:30.
Yeah.
So about 7 o'clock in the evening, I don't see why 20 miles an hour makes sense because there
And
are
you're
no school
totally
kids.
right about that at night because you go down. Have you tried to drive along a dual carriageway at 3 o'clock in the morning at 40 miles an hour? It's
It's
impossible.
strange because there's
You're
nothing else
constant,
around you, so
and
you kind of.
your sense of speed. Look, we all drive modern cars now. Modern cars are incredibly good at braking, and nobody wants to see anybody get hurt. So my advice would be, near schools, near places where kids are, try and take it slow, but the rest of it, up to you,
Mm.
really. I never break the law, obviously, but there you go. I also think there is a point of. Do you remember the Central Office of Information, which sounds very 1984? That was what did all those clunk click every
Yes.
trip and
Oh, are we
and
allowed to still also use those things?
clunk click just like that.
Mhm.
You can say it. Yes, you
Play
can.
it
You're fine.
safe.
Yes, play it safe on the roads. Don't know. But there doesn't seem to be any sort of campaigns to get kids to cross the road properly. Hold hands, look left,
Mm.
look right, look left again.
Stop,
I mean,
look, and
this is
listen.
stop, look, and listen, and then have Darth Vader tell you how to cross the road in a West Country
Yes.
accent. Finally, we've got Tracy in Bismarck, not the battleship, but North Dakota. Sorry.
The ship.
The battleship. You sung my battleship. Now, Bismarck is, I think it's the state capital of North Dakota. She's just moved back to the town after living in Chicago for a number of years. The Windy City. She's wants to buy something substantial for the cold winters. They are cold in Bismarck. Ferry the kids around. She's got an eye on this. 1999. Chevy
Ooh.
Silverado 1500, but that's not the size of the engine. That is instead 4.8 V8, 150 on the clock. Full service history, 3 owners. Last one for 15 years. She said it's immaculate on the inside. $3,800. What do you reckon?
That's interesting. It's a huge truck, though.
It's massive. We had a look on the internet. Very big truck, very capable truck, good reputation for reliability. The engines on these are very solid because we're English. We don't really know much about Yank tanks. You're in a place where you can get parts easily, cheaply, very hard on fuel, 15 mpg on average. But then you're in America, so it's half the price of the UK. 22 years old. Check for rust on the wheel arches, check the brakes, check the brake lines. They can go. Make sure they're not leaking. According to my research, it's viewed by owners as a reliable truck for just under $4,000.
Okay.
Why not? I mean, you're going to look like the moodiest mum in the soccer mum, aren't you? Picking up with this, people. I quite like it. I do.
God, it's got everything. There's a huge space in the back.
Massive. Yeah.
Some
I mean, that's
logs,
the other thing. If you're going,
people,
people, bodies, North
swimming pool.
Dakota, swimming pool. If you're going away for the weekend, you could just chuck a couple of tents in there. Yeah, have some great fun. I like the side, the little sort of sidebars to get into the damn thing underneath as well. It looks fantastic. Why not? Why not? And after 2 years, you'll probably go, I'm going to go buy a Japanese MPV. It's time now for our quiz.
Woo.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. As Shakespeare once wrote, a rose by any other name would he didn't write. As Shakespeare once wrote, we'll cut that bit out. A rose by any other, we won't. As Shakespeare once wrote, a rose by any other name would still be as sweet. But as we all know, car manufacturers give their cars some truly awful names. But how good are you at matching up the brand of the car with the name of the car? This week's quiz is A Rose by Any Other Name. I shall be your host in the role of game show host, a sort of Barry Michael Moore without the clogged pool drain. I shall be welcoming our contestant this week. He's joining us live via satellite from the Shangri-La of North London, that is Enfield. Simon, welcome to the show.
Looking forward to this.
Are you ready to play? And are you ready to win big?
Oh, what's on offer?
Well, this week, it's a picture of this kindly old gentleman and his Rolls Royce. Corniche with a private reg. What a lovely chap he looks like. You could display that picture
24/7
at your local school or your local police station. We all know this is the late not so much lamented Sir James Savile. 24/7. That's how much he was trying to fiddle people. And he's got his tracksuit open as well, which is disturbing. This is Rolls Royce Corniche, so this can be yours on your hopefully not your bedroom wall.
Hopefully,
yes, I get framed and donate it to the local primary school. It sounds ideal. Simon, are you ready?
I'm ready.
And we will begin. Which car brand does the name Sterling belong to? Is it A, Aston Martin? Is it B, Rolls Royce? Or is it C, Rover?
Takes me back a bit. The wasn't it the top model of the Rovers?
Final answer?
Final answer.
You are correct, of course. The Rover Sterling. Talk about polishing a turd. There you go. What an outside. I had a boss that had one of these covered in rust. A poor excuse for a car. The Rover Sterling. I wonder how many of those are left on our road. In fact, the only good one of those I liked, they did do a Targa. They did a two-door Targa.
Oh, interesting.
Almost one of the, it was that shape. It was the old Rover shape. That was quite nice. So one right, correct. Moving to the United States, and which car company had a model called the Grand National? And no, nothing to do with horse racing or Scousers. AA, calm down. Was it A, Ford, B, Chrysler, or C, Buick?
Oh, this is a tough one. It's definitely, I don't think it's Ford. Chrysler or Buick? Grand National. Chrysler like their Grand. Cherokee's Grand. No, that's Jeep. I'll go for Chrysler. My logic doesn't work, but.
I'm afraid.
Okay.
It was the now defunct, I believe, brand of Buick. That is the Grand National, which I actually think looks really. It is a much sought after car in America.
Squint is like in a Knight Rider car.
It is
like that.
Michael Knight, a lone warrior. There it is. Fantastic Grand National. It's a much. It is their RS Cosworth.
Much sought after.
Much sought after that. So yes, I'm afraid one wrong from the States. Meanwhile, we're moving to the continent. Now, the French are famous for their fornication, their cheese, and their ability to surrender. But which famous French car had a model named Diane? And here's the clue. It wasn't named after Diane Keane from the 1970s TV show Rings on the Fingers, starring Martin Jarvis. And I'm Martin Jarvis. Was it A, the Renault 4? Was it B, the Peugeot 406? Or is it C, the Citroën 2CV, which had the model named Diane?
I'm going to say, because I'm pretty sure, didn't Citroën have the Diane? Citroën, I'll go for Citroën.
It was indeed Citroën.
Hey.
It was just like the 2CV, but Summer had taken an effing ruler to it.
Miss Diane.
Miss Diane. The Diane also had the sort of soft top roof, and I think it was the second European car to be a hatchback. The Renault 4 was the first one, but on the original 2CVs, it had a boot, but on the Diane, it had the full back and the window opened.
Wow.
My mate's mum had like a white and red one with a stripy white and red roof. We're back in America now, and Cadillac was the Rolls Royce of the US highways. But which company tried to rival this with the Imperial? Was it A, General Motors, B, Pontiac, C, Chrysler, or D, from the same people that bought you the Glacier mints, Foxes?
Available in mint colour.
Yes, Imperial.
Oh, what was those options again?
General
General
Motors,
Motors.
Pontiac, or Chrysler, the Imperial.
I'm going to take a
Rival to
guess.
Cadillac.
Chrysler. Chrysler quite.
Correct. Yes, correct. That's your third one correct out of
Woohoo!
4. The Imperial was introduced in 1926. It was the top line vehicle much of its
Is it black and
history.
white?
Sorry.
They're black and white. The Mints Imperials.
Yeah,
The
yeah. No,
Imperial.
that was Everton mints. Everton mints were
Ah.
black and white, and the humbugs were. They're at home going, why are you talking about sweets from the 1950s? Everton mints were black and white. Humbugs were sort of cream and brown. Mint
Mm.
Imperials were round. And the Chrysler Imperial, the last incarnation, looked
Oh.
like this. What an absolute rotter. They were produced under the Chrysler name until 1954. And then in 54, they got their own factory, which produced the late 60s Chrysler Imperials up. And then they decided to produce them from 1990 to 1993 and produce this pile of dog shit.
Oh.
I've got a feeling
Beige.
what's it drives a Chrysler Imperial, or it's a Chrysler Fifth Avenue. The guy that murders people in Breaking Bad. I'm trying to think of the guy,
Yeah.
the security, the policeman.
Yeah.
The company positioned cars as prestigious marques, rival Cadillac, Continental, Lincoln, Duesenberg, Pierce, and of course Packard, Arrow, and Cord. But they ended their life quite sad as these front-wheel drive pieces of crap with Mitsubishi engines. Still got it right. Well done, well done. This picture of young Mr. Savile in his tracksuit, in his gold Rolls Royce, could still be yours. Meanwhile, in Germany, they have a love of power, speed, and corporophilia, allegedly. Which well-known German manufacturer made a 3-wheeled car called the Cabinenroller? Was it A, BMW? Was it B, Volkswagen? Was it C, Mercedes? Or was it D, Messerschmitt?
Ooh. See, Messerschmitt, I think
Three-wheel
would have, but
car called the
I
cabin
know
roller.
BMW made some really interesting bug type things, so I'm going to go for BMW.
No, I'm afraid I can't give you Messerschmitt. Well done.
Oh.
Go on, we'll give you a
They made planes as
half.
well. They made planes.
Messerschmitt was the called BMW in conjunction with the Italian company Isetta made the bubble car, which was 3-wheeler,
Yeah.
but the Cabinenroller was the Messerschmitt. And for 10 years after World War II, the company was not allowed to produce aircraft. One alternative was the 3-wheeled motorcycle bubble car, had a motorcycle engine in, the KR-175, the KR-200, designed by aircraft engineer Fritz Fend. And no, you don't get a beautiful lady, it's also the car. But they were
I was going to say there's a red thing next to the woman.
Yeah. What is that thing? Yeah, that was the 3-wheeler Messerschmitt. And I think you also had the handlebars were like an aircraft as well, so they were handlebars,
from the plane,
not a wheel. Yeah. These things now in the UK, £30,000 if you want one of those. Yeah, it'd be nuts to buy one, but
and the car as well.
Yeah, £30,000 for one of those. We want some of those legs on it. Anyway, moving swiftly on. 3.5 out of 5. Back home on home soil. And in the 1960s, the British motoring was at the high point of its existence. But which arm of the British Motoring Corporation produced the Magnet? Was it Ford? Was it Triumph? Was it Morris? Or was it MG? Some people call it the Magnet, some people call it the Magnet. It was produced by BMC in the 1960s, but was it a Ford, was it a Triumph, or was it a Morris, or was it
Not
MG?
a Ford. Don't think it was a Triumph. Morris Magnet, MG Magnet. Morris Magnet. I'm going to go for MG Magnet.
Yeah, it was the MG Magnet, saloon car produced by MG between 1953 and 1968. The Magnet was manufactured in the 2-build series ZA and ZB. They rusted really badly from the bottom up, and there ain't a lot of them left. But yeah, that was the MG. Yeah, of course it's BMC. British motoring crap. And I can say that because half my family worked for them. Which British car manufacturer, synonymous, we'll stay with the UK, with racing and kit cars, names all their cars in numeric order, starting with 1 and working through to 131. Currently, that's their current model. Was it A, Bond, B, Ginetta, C, Lotus, or D, Noble?
Ooh, this is a toughie. So what was it? A
It was A. Bond,
Bond.
B. Ginetta, C.
Janetta.
Lotus, or D. Noble. Their car started at number 1, and they are currently at number
Well,
131.
Lotus you'd have the Elise and Exige, and so it's not Lotus, although they had the 7. Noble, I don't think Noble did. I'm trying to think their last one. They had a Ford, and I'm going to go with
Bearing in mind they've
Ginetta.
had to have 131 different models.
Then that would say it suggests Lotus. So Lotus.
You are correct. This
Ah.
was the first Lotus. Now, the reason Lotus was started by Colin Chapman in 1948 to get round tax on cars, they sold them in kit form. The first car, this is the Lotus 1, looked effectively like an Austin 7, and the Lotus, and that's because it bloody well was. And the Lotus 7 became the basis for every current kit car, almost, plus featured in the British TV series The Prisoner, starring Patrick McGowan. So the current Lotus, which is the Exige, is number 131.
Oh, I never knew that. Learned something new.
It's
Educational
very, very cool. I think that's cooler than going, this is the 1.657. Well, why not just call it 1, 2, 3? I think that's great. Simplistic.
Good idea.
Number questions. So you got, we'll give you that one. So we're nearly halfway there. One of these right, and you're going to win it. Japanese company Mitsubishi manufactures cars, but also trucks. But which 1970s British comedian's catchphrase did they use to name one of their HGVs? Hang on a second.
What?
Yeah. Why have I got that there? Have we missed out? We've missed out a question. I think we may have missed out a question. We've missed a question. Sorry, that was question 7. Question 8. Staying with the British, which car manufacturer produced the Victor, the Vauxhall,
Would it be Vauxhall?
Vauxhall! The Victor,
Vauxhall,
the Vauxhall, the Cresta.
Yeah.
Yes, it was Vauxhall. God, you're doing well, Simon. 5.5. Right. It's been a long day. Moving on to question 9. Japanese company Mitsubishi manufactures cars, also trucks. But which 1970s British comedian's catchphrase did they use as to name one of the HGVs? So this is hang on, let me I can't actually show you this. So so imagine it's a big HGV, it's a big truck.
Yes.
Was it A, nice to see you nice from Bruce Forsyth? Was it super great, as in super smashing great from Jim Bowen? Was it C, the Germans bombed our chippy by Stan Boardman? Or was it D, all of that black bloke into my club, Bernard Manning?
I'm guessing it's going to be B.
Super great. It was correct.
Super smashing great.
It was super smashing great by Jim Bowen. There you go. And not who let that black bloke into my club by Bernard Manning, because he was a racist old fart. Yes, super great. This Mitsubishi is super great. Super and great. Right, so you got 6.5 out of 9.
Germans.
Let's say the bloody Germans. Finally, we all know that the Americans aren't the sharpest tools in the box. Let's just mention the works of Steven Seagal and leave it at that. But they do make quite a few nice cars. Which car company, though, came up with the Grand Wagoneer in the 1980s? I forgot to show you that picture of a Lotus 7. Look at that. Beautiful. So the Grand Wagoneer was come up in the 1980s, but which American car company came up with it? Was it A, Jeep, B, Ford, C, AMC, or D, Pontiac? It was the Grand Wagoneer.
Ooh. I'm going to take a guess at Pontiac.
No, I would
If
like
not, Jeep would be the second one.
Yeah, it was. I'll give you another half. So I'll take
Okay.
up to 7. It means you'll win the picture. No, so anyway, yes, it was the Jeep Wagoneer. Look at that with genuine pictures of wood on the side of it. Luxury 4x4 produced and marketed under Jeep as successive automakers from 61 to 1991. Described when introduced as a station wagon body style, the pioneering design became known as SUV. So these are one of the first SUVs.
Wow.
Late 80s, early 90s ones can reach up to $40,000 in good nick. They are really sought after because there's no electronic shit and it's all lots of heavy Detroit metal.
Yeah.
So you can work on them. you can pull stuff off, pull stuff on. I quite like the wood on the side. I
I
think
can
that-
imagine weekends just like varnishing the side.
I don't think you can. I don't think you need to do it. I think it's a photograph of wood. It's not real wood, mate. It's like it's what's it?
It's like a 1980s Rover.
It's a vinyl sticker. I like that. I'd drive that in America, and I would care less. Yes, of course. Well done, Simon. So yes, it's well done to you. You walk off with this. Well, what can I say? But this absolutely beautiful picture of an old man.
With his Rolls Royce.
Who's now dead, and his grave has been decimated. And I think they sold that Rolls Royce, believe it or not, for £25,000. I thought you could get a fiver for it. Some sick puppy out there. That's about it from the show. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you're going to treasure that picture. Put it up in a local playgroup or a primary school will probably be the most ideal place for it. That's about it from us. We're back next week, all being well. If I actually manage to write another episode of this show and don't get put off by evil people. It's the computers are eating my homework. Don't forget to please like us, please subscribe and ring that bell, and that's our email. Get in touch and send us lots of nice pictures and say hi to us, and we'll say hi back. Thank you very much, and it's good night from him, and it's good night from me.